Hello and welcome to our channel. Why have the Jewish people faced hatred, persecution, and discrimination for centuries? It's a question that reaches back to the dawn of civilization and remains relevant today. From ancient empires to modern societies, Jews have often found themselves at the center of conflict and prejudice. But why? To understand this, we need to go back, way back, to the ancient world. Around 3,000 years ago, when the Jewish people emerged in the land of Canaan, they were different. In a world dominated by polytheism, they were monotheistic, believing in one God, Yahweh. This religious difference was profound. It wasn't just a theological debate, it was a cultural and political stance. In societies where religion and politics were deeply intertwined, the Jewish insistence on worshiping a single God marked them as outsiders, alien, suspicious. In Egypt, the Jews were enslaved, and when they left to form their own kingdom, conflict with neighboring nations only intensified. This was the beginning of what would become a historical pattern, the Jewish people being seen as the other, misunderstood and mistrusted by the majority. Fast forward to the rise of Christianity. The story of Jesus' crucifixion played a huge role in shaping attitudes toward Jews. Early Christians, struggling for dominance in the Roman Empire, began to cast Jews as the killers of Christ. This portrayal fueled centuries of religiously motivated violence against Jewish communities. From the Crusades to the Spanish Inquisition, Jews became convenient scapegoats during times of economic hardship, plague, or political unrest. Scapegoating is a psychological tool societies use to explain their problems. When plagues ravaged Europe, who was to blame? The Jewish people. Accused of poisoning wells. When financial crises hit, who was accused of greed and usury? Once again, the Jews. By the Middle Ages, Jews were often forced into specific roles within society, like moneylending, which further isolated them. Usury, lending money at interest, was forbidden to Christians but necessary for economic growth. This economic role painted Jews as wealthy and manipulative, an idea that would evolve into dangerous stereotypes we still see today. These stereotypes were manipulated by both religious and secular rulers to divert attention from their own failings. Kings and emperors could expel or tax Jewish communities heavily, creating both an enemy and a financial asset whenever it suited them. As we enter the modern age, a new form of anti-Semitism emerged, racial anti-Semitism. No longer was it just about religious differences. Jews were increasingly viewed as a separate race, biologically inferior and inherently corrupt. With the rise of nationalism in the 19th and early 20th centuries, Jews were seen as threats to national purity and unity. They were accused of being global conspirators, intent on controlling the world, a myth that would reach its horrific peak during the Holocaust. The Holocaust wasn't just the culmination of centuries of prejudice. It was the industrialized destruction of a people, rooted in a toxic blend of racial theory, economic scapegoating, and historical religious hatred. You would think that after the Holocaust, the world would have learned its lesson, but anti-Semitism never really disappeared. In fact, it's been adapting and morphing with the times. Today, anti-Semitism thrives in both far-left and far-right ideologies, from neo-Nazi groups to anti-Zionist rhetoric that crosses into outright hatred of Jews. And in the digital age, conspiracy theories about Jewish control of media, finance, and governments have found new life online. In the heart of Europe, a disturbing trend has emerged: Holocaust denial. This phenomenon, which attempts to distort or deny the facts surrounding one of the darkest chapters in human history, poses significant dangers to society. The Holocaust, during World War II, saw the systematic genocide of 6 million Jews and millions of others, including Romani people, disabled individuals, and political dissidents. Yet, despite overwhelming evidence and survivor testimonies, some individuals and groups insist it never happened. Holocaust denial often stems from anti-Semitic beliefs. Deniers argue that it was exaggerated or fabricated to gain sympathy for Jews and justify the establishment of Israel. This narrative is not only false, it undermines the experiences of survivors and the memory of those who perished. The consequences of Holocaust denial extend far beyond historical inaccuracies. It fosters an environment where hate can thrive. By questioning the facts, deniers propagate anti-Semitism, allowing dangerous ideologies to gain traction. In recent years, we have seen a rise in anti-Semitic incidents across Europe. They exploit social media platforms to spread misinformation, targeting younger generations who may not have the same educational background on the Holocaust. Young person: I never really learned about the Holocaust in school. It's disturbing to think that some people deny it even happened. It makes me question what else might be twisted or left out of our history lessons. To combat Holocaust denial, education is crucial. Communities must work together to ensure that the history of the Holocaust is taught accurately, that survivors' stories are shared, and that the lessons learned are never forgotten. By educating ourselves and future generations about the Holocaust, we honor the victims and reinforce the importance of tolerance and understanding. Denying history is a path to repeating it. If you found this video informative and believe in the importance of preserving history, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and share it with others.